The biggest stereotype in the rock and roll industry is that it's all sex, drugs, and alcohol. While today it isn't a very popular trend, there are countless musicians with addictions to drugs like heroin, meth, crack, cocaine, and marijuana. Additionally, there's a number of musicians with alcohol addictions, and when all added together, there's a total of about 600 rock stars who have either died because of or overcame their addictions. Most hardcore drugs first started being used for recreational purposes in the 1930s, but became extremely popular amongst artists like Jimi Hendrix and Lou Reed in the 70s, who used meth and heroin. Alcohol has been used for even longer, over 9,000 years to be exact, and over that period of time there has been countless musicians that have suffered from alcoholism. Bon Scott, Brian Connolly, David Byron, John Baham, Mika Tenkula, whom received the nickname King Alcohol, Rob Buck, Eric Clapton, Brian Welch, and Ozzy Osbourne all had this issue. There are countless songs about the use of different kinds of drugs, including My Michelle by Guns N' Roses, the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers, Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers, Love and Meth by Korn, and Geek Stink Breath by Green Day. After the countless songs about drugs, there's even more about alcohol. Some examples being Cold Gin by Kiss, Trashed by Black Sabbath, Wasted by Def Leppard, Take Your Whiskey Home by Van Halen, and Have a Drink on Me by AC/DC. Drugs and alcohol didn't have much of an influence in rock songs until the late 70s and early 80s, which are when bands like Kiss, Motley Crue, AC/DC, Green Day, and Guns N' Roses first became big in the industry, and were some of the first to address addiction and the consequences it has in their music. While they didn't necessarily address addiction in their music, artists like David Bowie, Mick Jagger, Iggy Pop, and Keith Richards all suffered from addictions to almost every drug available. While there is a large amount of artists with addictions, there's quite a few who have not. Some examples being Bruce Springsteen, Kiss, AFI, Rage Against the Machine, Angus Young, and Hayley Williams, who once said, "You're not going to see us in the newspaper arrested for snorting cocaine in some bathroom. I like to know that I'm in control. That's why I don't do drugs or drink. I did drink for a while growing up until I realized I was doing it to be cool. I want everything I say or write to come from the heart, not a pill or a pipe." Drugs today still have a large influence on rock music with songs like The Death of Me by Asking Alexandria and The Drug Amnesia by Falling in Reverse. Many artists have come out about their addictions, including Danny Worsnop, who got begged by fans and band members to go to rehab, Ronnie Radke, who went to prison for his drug use, and Andy Biersack, who is an alcoholic for many years before getting help.
Right fucking now. Who prefers Danny the way he used to be? Put your hands up.
That is me.
Who prefers him now? Put your hands up. There's like 3 people. Wait. Ignore him. Who here will support us in putting my best friend through rehab and making him better? Put your hands up. Thank you so much.
The amazing thing is that you nearly threw all that away, all that creativity through drugs, and you got through it in the end.
Well, I guess all that period was pretty fine, you know. It was the later years, the later part of the 70s. But my story in terms of drugs and the alcohol and all that is no different to anybody else's, and it's almost a textbook story. So,
except you survived it.
Yeah, well, a lot of us did, you know. I'm not the only one by any means.
Just tell me, because it's fascinating research. Well, so you saw a guy on CNN, a doctor, was talking about the effect that cocaine had on the human brain. I don't know if it changed your mind about drugs, but certainly had an effect of making you not want to take drugs.
Oh, drugs, they seep into your life. You're not really aware of it at first. I think my first feeling was about that. I mean, I'm working with these guys that are, older. I'm on the road. And we're 19, 20 years old. And it's taken its toll on us, you know, the road work. You know, and these guys are older and they're all together. And you say, how do you do this, man? You know, I mean, what's the secret? You know, well, you take one of these, you smoke a little of that.
How did I get myself straight? What made me decide to get straight at this point? It wasn't something where it's been going on for a long time. I always really believed that I was very aware of where I was at with my assorted addictions, you know, so I felt very in control of it in one hand. Not to the point where I could just quit anytime I wanted, but I was just very aware of it all throughout my using, the whole period that I've been using.